Whoa, now I'm your host, Lambo Drew, and you are now tuned into another edition of The Leverage Show. Y'all know what time it is. I told y'all we was doing it big, and I got my little bro here, man. JayZ is in the building, man, with me today. Say what's up, JayZ.
What up, though?
Talk to him, man. So we're excited about this. You guys know, man, the myth, the legend, Mike Shapiro is definitely in the building. If I had, man, my dun 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 dun, man, it'll be going in, man. But we're gonna do our virtual dun 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 dun, man. You know, so listen, I'm telling you this right now. I hope y'all been sharing this video, sharing this platform, sharing this channel, getting this out to anybody and everybody you possibly can. Because I'm telling you what, we have been tuned in and tapped in and waiting for this moment. We were literally trying to go ahead and get our schedules together so that we can definitely bring you guys something of value. You guys already know we bring some of the hottest guests to the show. We bring some of the best guests to the show. We bring some of the best people, man, who are in their industries, who are killing it at a higher standard. And today, I think we have our biggest guest. What do you think, Jay? Our biggest guest we've ever seen to the Leverage Show?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure?
Billionaire.
Do you know how many billionaires you met, man? The people who made billions, man.
Not in person. I ain't met nobody in person.
You ain't met nobody in person?
That's a billionaire?
That's a billionaire.
Nah.
They really got billions out there flowing like that.
Not
helping
even
people.
A millionaire, but you.
Yeah. See, now there he goes, man. So listen, y'all got to put it in the chats. Welcome, man, my little bro. And you know, today is special for Lambo. And there's a reason why and everything, man. My little brother is sitting here, man. For those who know, August 15th, man, is special for Lambo, right? Special for Lambo in so many different reasons. And one of the biggest reasons it's special for me is because I left New Orleans 22 years ago on this day with $457.54 to actually be exact in my pocket. Heading to college, not knowing and everything, man, where I was going to sleep. That night, I slept actually in a Red Roof Inn where I spent $57.54 for one night and literally had $400 left in my pocket. That was it. That was all I had. So when people talk about, man, the success to riches stories, you know, I actually can add myself into the equation, not knowing that I was literally getting ready to go ahead and be part of that equation. But guess what, man? We all have plans, man. We all have things in life that we continuously to have to pursue ourselves for even greater. And that's what Lambo Drew, man, always wanted to do, is wanted to pursue myself for greater for you guys and continuously to keep pushing forward. And that's why he is so important. And he's sitting next to me, right? This is my little brother-in-law. For those who know, man, this is Renata's brother. Shout out, man, to my wonderful wifey's brother, man, in the building, man. You know, people don't know this, man, but I met my wife, 4 months after I actually got up here to Columbus, Ohio, believe it or not. And that's where you guys don't know this, but Lambo is shooting this live in Columbus, Ohio. I couldn't let anybody know that I was traveling today and out here shooting in Columbus, Ohio. So we wanted to do something special. Not only that, we have one of the biggest guests, man, to ever hit the Leverage Show, but to also do something special and something memorable that I remember 22 years ago, where I was not knowing what my next move was going to be, going to college, and then literally living that Red Roof Inn, not knowing where was my next head going to be laid at. And believe it or not, a lot of people didn't know this, and I don't even think I even told my wife and my kids, but there was the first 1 or 2 nights I actually slept on a park bench right after that, right? Because I was waiting to try to get into school, waiting to get the right roommates. And a lot of people don't know your story until you actually are moving forward. You guys have heard the story of, you know, Lambo out there, man, for a full year with his family, sleeping out of a vehicle, man, when my babies were small, and my wife staying right there. You don't know the journey that each one of us actually inspires to continuously to make us up to be great. My brother, believe it or not, I met him, about 4 months into my journey when I got here, right?
Yeah, I was about like 14 at the time. So what year was that?
2002.
2002,
yeah, late 2002. And he came on the scene, and a shout out and everything, man, to his cousin, man, DR Williams, man, for introducing us together. And I'm telling you what, I remember first meeting him, cutting his hair, and then I was just like, oh man, yeah, this is my guy. that's really even before meeting his sister, really, man, at that point. Because I think I didn't even get a chance to come over to the house again until after I was cutting his hair and we hadn't started making a bond. But he has been so inspirational into my life. The family has been inspirational into my life. And I wanted Jay, man, to actually share this moment before we bring my guy, Mike Shapiro, on here, man. And just to be able to say, hey, man, I really want to thank you. I really want to appreciate you as a big brother, man, for being there in the hardest times of my life, man, in the roughest times of my life. Even with, man, my kids are actually sitting in the studio today while we're actually recording and actually being there for them. But I want you to tell the people and everything, man, just a little bit in the testimony, man. What have Lambos been into your life, man? And how have inspired your life?
Man, you've been a motivational speaker for me, man. You know, you always uplift me, man. Always, you know, never gave up on me, man. Even though when I made bad choices, bad decisions, you know, I know I'm not a perfect guy at all, man, but you was always there for me, man. And I hate to throw my business out, man, but my brothers wasn't even there for me like that. You know what I mean? This cat was always there for me, for real, coming up and growing up. When I always got the advice from him that I needed, man, from 14 years old, still to this day, I'm 36 years old, and I'm still getting advice from this cat, you know? I always call him up every time I'm into a little jam, anything, man. I always go to this dude right here, man. Always gave me the advice, man, coming up. Even some couple of my homies, man, that, you know, he gave advices to as well. You know, he was like a big brother to them as well, you know what I mean? Not just to them, but to me as well, mainly me, you know what I mean? A lot of people, man, think that this dude right here is my blood brother. I'm like, nah, man, that's my brother-in-law. You know, they be like, well, y'all look alike. I'm like, nah. I'm like, I don't see it. But I really love this dude, man. You know, he's been a blessing to this family, though, for sure, man, coming up. You know, always been there for me, man. Pray for me, man. He been with me, man, on my side, man, back when I was going through my divorce, man, with my ex-wife, and I didn't know what to do. This dude right here, man, I spoke to this cat every day. And we prayed on the phone, man. We sit there, chop it up and talk on the phone, man, about 3 hours, man. At the time, he was living up in Minneapolis at the time, right?
Yeah.
He was living in Minneapolis, man. I'll call him. I'm like, man, you at work? He's like, man, I'm gonna call you here. When I get off work, he'll call me, man. When he get off work, me and him will sit there and talk on the phone for 3 hours, man, and gave me nothing but advice, man. And still to this day, like I say, he's still doing it, you know. And with this, you know, with the credit thing and everything, him working on my credit, doing, you know, getting me to a different level in life, you know, and me being focused on my credit, paying on my credit cards, you know what I mean? But this dude right here, it's like, you would think he worked with the government, man, for real, like how he watches my credit. You know what I mean? I'll use a card, man. He'll call me. I'll be like, man, Jay, would you use that card? I'll be like, come on, man. Like, I got to get gas in the car, man. I'm like, man, I'm tired of touching my money. But for real talk, man, I really love this dude, man. And I'm glad my sister, man, ran into this dude for real, man. You see how God works right here, for sure. Love
man,
him, bro.
appreciate you, little bro, man. You already know, man. And that's facts, man. I really wanted him just to take a few minutes, man, on this special day, especially it being 22 years when Lambo actually left New Orleans on a one-way ticket, coming here to Columbus, and then meeting him, his wonderful sister, man, which is my lovely wife, and she's the mother to, man, my wonderful kids, but also my mother-in-law, who's just an amazing lady, man, who literally took me in, man, as well, and just, I'm telling you what, just sheltered me and nurtured me. But to actually have, man, my little bro sitting right next to me, which he is going to be starting his podcast. So you guys better go ahead and get ready. We are making ways for JayZ to start his podcast. Y'all have seen him in the comments. I wanted to introduce him before and everything, man. We bring my guy, Mike Shapiro, on and give him just a couple of moments, man, to go on ahead and share that with you guys. So we thank you for definitely, man, you tap it in, man. And definitely, you brother.
Know, man.
He's always sharing everything. Every time you look around, man, he's sharing it all, man, and sending it all in the barbershops. Talks has definitely got Lambo Drew playing in the barbershops, at the homes, at the jobs, at work. And it's because, man, of what, man, my little bro has been doing, man. And I'm so thankful for him, man. So yeah, man, listen, y'all, we got so much to cover, man. We got to go on ahead, tap into the chats real quick, because we got to bring the guest of honor out here. The man himself, the myth, the man, the legend, and everything. Mike Shapiro is definitely in the building. But before we bring him out, let's go on ahead, man, and tap into the chats, man, and let's see who was definitely in the chats, man. I see y'all got these fire emojis, and y'all putting everything else in there, man. Let's go on ahead and let's see. Let's scroll on up. Then let's see from the first beginning of who is in the chats. Yeah, y'all was up. So my soul does wait, the very first one. Let's go ahead and do that one. There we go. All right, man. My soul does wait. Say, here comes another Lambo production, man. Shout out to you, man. My soul does wait. Thank you for being in the building. LA Law, I see you at the very next one. Shout out to you. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone is well. Yes, everyone is, man. Thank you for that, LA Law, man. Shout out to you. My guy, Kennard Haney, looks like he's the third one in the building. What's up, Lambo? Do what you do. Welcome to the Leverage Show, Mr. Shapiro. Shout out to you for that, man. The YouTube algorithm, don't worry about it, King. You know I got you, man. You know, I see, man, my cousin's in the building, man. Errol is in the building. What's up, Leverage Show? Thank you, cuz, for being in the building. Issa is in the building. Happy Thursday, Lambo family. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being in the building, sir. You know what time it is. Kennard Haney says, hello, Mr. Johnson, the Leverage Show family. Should be some new guests on the show tonight. I invited a few. Thank you for that, man, Big Ken. My wonderful wife, there she is. That's his wonderful sister. That's my bride. Out there in the hair shop, man, doing what she's doing. Say hello to all the ladies in the hair shop, man, and you and your mom, man, getting it in, man. Appreciate y'all. Errol's in the building, man, showing love to my wonderful wife, Soul Does Wait, and everybody else in the building, man. Shout out to you, cuz, for that. Julie is in the building. Shout out to you, Julie Crafton, JJC Unlimited. If you guys don't know JJC Automation, they have definitely got almost 500,000 streams now from that wonderful interview with them and Bandman Kevin. Shout out to them, man. Killing the game in the automation. Definitely, you guys be tapped in, because we got more at the end of the show for live questions, man, where you'll be able to ask Mr. Shapiro, man, in the building. Issa's next, man. Shout out to you, Issa. I see you in the building. Julie's in the building, showing more love to everybody. Money's in the building. Shout out to you, Money, man. Thank you for that. Read the tape. Listen, read the tape. This is Mr. Shapiro's broadcast. Shout out to them and their podcast team being in here. We are here from Mike's podcast, showing support. Thank you guys, everybody, man, over at Read the Tape, man. You guys are amazing. I see showing love to Ken, man. Appreciate you, man. Jeremiah Crafton is in the building. What's up, Pinky partner? Just was on the phone with you before the broadcast. My baby says, look at Jay. Yeah, he's in the building doing his thing, man. Shout out to him. Issa showing love to Money. Money's in the building, showing back love to Kennard. Definitely, man. Ken showing love, man. A shout out to Julie. Issa's in the building, showing love. Who is that? Issa showing love. Kennard Haney showing love. Ken showing love. Jeremiah showing love. Money showing love. Larry showing love. Shout out to you, Larry the Lion, man. My guys in the building. Appreciate you. I knew you wouldn't miss this, man. Any more people out there in the chats that are new? That's my mother-in-law right there. Shout out to you, Linda Williams. Thank you for showing so much love in the building, man. Appreciate you for that. You know what time it is. Money showing love again in the building, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. And right before that, here we go. Love is in the building. Appreciate you, love. Thank you for showing so much love in the building. Black Food for Life. What's going on, Amber? What's going on, Black Food for Life? Appreciate you guys in the building. Listen, you guys, thank y'all for these chats. BOJ is in the building, man. My guy, another great YouTube subscriber, man. Make sure you guys go follow Bank of Gerald on YouTube, who's really killing the game. Listen, y'all, without further ado, I want to bring this giant to the show and be able to say some amazing things about him first. When he accepted this invitation, I literally says there's no way that this is Mike Shapiro at all. There's no way that this guy has turned around and has been the coach of coaches, has done all the great things that he has done. I watched his actual video and his interview from Shout Out to Snooge and some other ones that he actually did. And I said, oh my gosh, this guy right here is the epitome of what leadership looks like, but is definitely helping cultures build generational wealth. I really want to thank Mike for everything that he has done. I see that he's got a podcast going on. If you guys are not subscribed to Read the Tape, man, please get subscribed to Read the Tape podcast, man. Just starting his journey into that and really giving back in this point of his life. Mike could be actually out there literally on a yacht, the biggest yacht, over in Greece somewhere or over in, Dubai somewhere, really doing it. Yeah. But he's right here on the Leverage Show tonight, sharing wisdom, knowledge with you guys. And I truly, truly, truly want to give him the utmost respect and utmost roar in the chats. We welcome to the show the first time, but not the last time, my friend, my guy, the Mike Shapiro.
Thank you. I don't know if I can live up to that introduction. Holy moly, that is fantastic. That's true.
Listen, you can live up to it. First of all, Mike, I really want to thank you, man. I mean, your energy is just amazing. And let me be real with you, your humbleness and humility is just amazing as well. And I really want to thank you for that, man. I mean, most shows, man, when we get a chance to see some amazing guests, and we've had a lot of amazing guests that come to the show, man. We're always sitting in there like, okay, we kind of know this person. You literally was one of the first people, and I really want to say this, when I was looking at everything, I said, I can't do this. I started sweating. My wife said, you've been staying up all night. He's just another guy to get out there and interview. I said, no, baby, he is that guy. He's not just another guy. He's not the other guy. To stop that, he is that guy, man.
Well, that's very nice of you, but I am just another guy.
Mike, I really, man, I want to thank you for that, man, just by saying that, man. And people need to know, especially our wonderful community, that they definitely can go ahead and let the guards down. They don't go on ahead and have to not stunt their questions, that they can ask questions tonight. They definitely can have a candid conversation.
I do best when people just ask questions, and maybe I can help them, or maybe they can steer them in the right direction, or maybe it triggers something creative in their mind and move them in a different direction in their lives. So yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's my favorite thing, is if I'm speaking publicly, if they give time for questions and answers, because I feel like that's the only way you're really interacting with an audience. Like, why are they there to listen to you? Then otherwise it's boring to everybody. I mean, it has to be interactive. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And we're going to have an interactive section, man, towards the end of the broadcast. Well, people will be able to go on ahead, click the link that literally is at the top of the chat. You guys should see the little link. I want Dan to go ahead and kind of highlight it real quick. Well, they'll be able to click that link at the very top, right? Yep, that's it right there. They'll be able to click on it and come backstage. Well, they'll be able to come on the screen and be able to go ahead and ask Mike their questions. And man, that's what this community is about. We really wanted to do something different. I just didn't want it to feel like another interview with another podcast, but to really be able to have so many people, man, who are engaged, and people who, the moment I started promoting, they started saying Lambo, we didn't even know who he is. We went got his book and went reading his book, and we subscribed to the podcast, and we started doing our homework because you saying he was coming to the show, and literally people fell in love with you, Mike, because of your leadership, your commitment, and then seeing your journey, your background. And we really want, man, this community and everyone, man, who's definitely tapped in, to be able to have something that they can take away with this, and something monumental. So that link right there is the link towards the end of the show. We'll actually open it up to only 5 guests. So make sure that you are the first one to hit that link. You'll come backstage, and we will actually go ahead and bring you on the screen with Mike and let you be able to ask your questions one-on-one with the man himself. So again, thank you guys. All right, we're moving on. Mike, talk to us, man. Tell the people, just a little bit about who is Mike Shapiro. Everybody thought that you were an actor, when they was actually Googling your name up. They say, Lambo, that does not look like him. And then all of a sudden they Google up Mike Shapiro, the billionaire. And it's like, oh my goodness, we hit the lottery. So tell the people a little bit about you, Mike.
Well, there you go. There are a lot of Shapiros in the New York metropolitan area. So there's you can Google Shapiro, and a lot of people come up. Mostly, I think they're doctors, to be honest with you, which is kind of funny. So, who am I? That's an interesting question. I've had a long, varied career. I've been very lucky. I think that I wrote my book is a testament to my father. My father always wanted to write a book. And so I wrote it, and I really just shared, it was novelized, and I really just shared a story of, what I did and how I did it, and, how to inspire others. And I think that my success in my life was in large part driven by my father, who really celebrated everything I failed at, which is an unusual situation. He grew up in terrible poverty. He grew up in really, really bad situation and very conditional love, not unconditional love. And I think he wanted to break that cycle. And so when he raised me, he just effectively celebrated everything I failed at. So I think it made me somewhat of a sociopathic entrepreneur. Like, I didn't care about failing. And I try to share that. I try to literally share that with everybody I meet. And I also feel it's important, I say this all the time, that whoever you're in front of or around, you need to open up doors and windows for them. It's imperative that you do that and help people. I think everyone should do that, no matter
Do you want your
what
mic?
their socioeconomic standing is. You can always open a door or window for somebody. You can always help somebody, and I live by that credo. Did I lose you?
Actually, you didn't lose us or nothing like that, man. We here.
Sorry.
Official, doing what we do. No. That's what people wanted to hear, Mike. People want to hear, like, who is this person? Like that right there is always the mystery, right? When we actually start talking about it. And then I think that because we live in a society where at a push of a button, or literally us being able to type something in or going to our phones and typing in things, man, we get information right there on the spot.
Mhm.
And I think that your journey, first of all, needs to be noted, because when you talked about, man, who is Mike Shapiro, I want to talk about something that people need to highlight: the earlier years of Mike Shapiro. Let's talk about that, because I think that is always something that's huge, right? Who was Mike Shapiro, man, as a kid? Was he a kid that just decided, man, look, when I come up, I'm getting ready to do some big things, or I'm going to be the college kid that just wilds out in college, or I'm going to be the college kid that's actually being the nerd?
Yeah, yes. All the answer to those questions is yes, yes, and yes. So I think that, I was all of those things. I think that there's always that funny saying, "Show me the 5-year-old, or show you the man." So I think that when I was 5 years old, I was probably a similar individual. I remember, this is sort of a silly comment, but when you're a kid in elementary school, there's a thing called show and tell.
Yep.
You just go in front of the classroom and you bring something up and you show it. And I remember, like, being fixated on it. I didn't have anything to show. I would just stand in front of the classroom and show anything. They couldn't get me off the stage. So I think it started early with me, and I think that's kind of how it's continued. So I can tell a funny story about when I was my upbringing, about show and tell, and maybe your audience will enjoy this or not. But
no, please tell. You get that time. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm still a hypochondriac. I always think, something goes wrong. I have a million doctors. Nothing's wrong with me, but I just always think that, what's wrong? I got to go to the hospital, or I'm still a crazy hypochondriac. Anyway, long story longer. When I was a kid, I think, actually, this is funny because you're in Ohio right now. I think my family, for spring break, we went to, was it Columbus, or we went to Cleveland? We went to Cleveland for spring break. Who goes to Cleveland for spring break but my family? And I forget how old I was. Maybe it was 7, 8 years old. And we went to some hotel. That's where we went to visit some friends. And I was horsing around the pool. And does everyone remember the first time that you got the wind knocked out of you, whether you're playing, contact sports or whatever you're doing, sort of horsing around the pool, and I got the wind knocked out of me. And so it's kind of a scary feeling, it's like, wow, there's something wrong. So I was convinced I was dying. I run upstairs. My parents are in the hotel room. I say, "Dad, something's wrong. And he's like, "No, you got the wind knocked out of you. You literally got the wind knocked out of you." I'm like, "No, I'm telling you there's something wrong." He subsequently gave me a diagnosis. I wasn't going to leave him alone unless he gave me a diagnosis. The diagnosis was a thing called Schmaltzhaven. So in Yiddish, schmaltz means fat and haven means home. So he told me that I had loosened fat in my body. It was trying to find a new home. And subsequently, once it found its new home, I would feel better. So mind you, we go back to school. I go back to show and tell. Everyone's talking about their spring break. I get in front of this classroom and I tell the story about how I have Schmaltzhaven, which is a made-up disease. The teacher, of course, heard the story and she fell on the floor. I think she was holding papers, fell on the floor. And I knew my father at that point had scammed me, and I made a complete fool out of myself. So this is how it all started.
I can't even believe that one, Mike. You know, Mike.
I think I'm still suffering from Schmaltz-Haven, actually. I think I still have fat loose in my body, and it's trying to find a new
Mike, we need that in the dictionary. Lambo gonna put that, man. I'm telling you, in the dictionary. We're gonna go ahead, man, and we're gonna frame that, Jay. Let's go ahead and frame that, man. We gonna get some money off of this, man.
Yeah.
For sure. We need that.
We need that.
We need that.
We need the Schmaltz-Haven.
Man, we need to run.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get in his shoes.
Hey, man. I love it, man. So you've always had a knack for a sense of humor, literally since you were young. And that just kind of continued on. I mean, it looks like not only did it continue on even while you were young, but literally, man, kind of growing up, you were kind of visionary and focused on a lot of your goals that literally you had a target on. You know, talk to us about that and being focused on goals and still having a sense of humor like you got, Mike. You know,
I think that humor is probably one of the most important things that people have. I think that if you can't learn to laugh at yourself or you can't laugh with others, I think it's, it's a mistake. I think you really always have to be able to laugh at life. Life is just funny. Otherwise, you miss a big part of your existence. So I think that like people get so focused on like, how do I say that? I think goals are really important, but I think also you need to open your mind up to sometimes new goals will come or new ideas will come. So I think in my career, I've always sort of been open to other ideas, or somebody may come into a meeting and suddenly trigger me into wanting to do a different project or invest in a different project. So I wouldn't say that it was always like I was focused, this is what I wanted to do. I would say things change along the way, and I think that's important to have that. I think it's important to always be able to pivot, be able to be creative. And I think that's been part of my career always. So,
dude, you said the magic word, Mike. You say pivot. I see a lot of businesses out here, or even entrepreneurs and their startups, or even entrepreneurs who probably have been in the game a little bit. And that's the one thing that they struggle with, of being able to pivot and move to another dimension and move to the next level, right? Do you actually take that in seeing that most entrepreneurs can't pivot, can't maneuver to the next level? And then when you're actually doing coaching, say, hey, I'm getting ready to show you guys why you guys are not excelling at the next level. And you're able to bring those type of tips and tricks into it as well. And then also talk about some of the first times that you yourself pivoted big and then all of a sudden started making big waves because you were able to see something visionary and not something that was hindsight.
I think that that's a very, let's unpack that question.
Yeah.
This is a large question. So
yeah.
I think that like whatever it is your goal is, or whatever project you're doing, like I'm in various projects, actually I was meeting today about a project that I'm trying to get off the ground. And I think that, there's been some friction to try to get it off the ground. And I think it's just a constant effort to find the right fit of your team. I think it's, you can't ever do anything alone. You always have to do it with a team. And I think it's always trying to find that right perfect team to get it to the finish line. So pivoting means different things to different people, and pivoting, when to pivot, when not to pivot. I mean, timing, sometimes you need to give something more time, for lack of a description. So it's a complicated question. But when you're a trader on the floor, which I did for a long time, there was always this sort of line that you would say, like, if it's a loser, it's a loser, it's a loser. And if it's a winner, let it run. And you learn on the exchange floor that you're going to be wrong 49% of the time. So you learn to be wrong all the time, and you are going to be right 51% of the time. That 1% is a lot of money. So if you learn that equation, that you only really need to be right 51% of the time, and that's okay, then you win. And so I think a lot of people get stuck into these sort of channels of like, I have to always be winning. I always have to be right. I always have to do this, versus not having those experiences, if that makes any sense. So I think that there is a lot of luck in things as well. And I hate when people say they're super successful, and I hear a lot of these people, or some of these I know a lot of these people, and there was like, I was a super genius, or I did this or whatever. I think, in the end, there's an element to luck in a lot of ways. Like, are you at the right place at the right time? I mean, of course, you have to make yourself be at the right place at the right time, but at the same token, there is some luck involved in some of this decision process, and having the right team member there, or having the right person there, or having the right coach or mentor, or the person who has the right knowledge. So it's always that way. And so you have to keep pushing. If you want to get a project done, or if you want something really badly, you have to keep pushing through some of the friction. And sometimes it's important to, if you know that it's the wrong decision, like you're not feeling totally right about it, but sometimes you have to let that decision run a little in order to learn enough to make the right decision. Does that make any sense? I don't mean to be coded in my conversation with you. But
no, listen, you're talking coaching talk to Lambo, baby. This is right up my alley at this point. And this is right up the Leverage Show alley, because this is what we're actually looking for. And people are trying to find out what is the secret recipe that literally you can find your lane, find your why, and then thrive in that lane, right? Just like how you have done, right? But then also it keeps going back to finding a mentor, but also working systems, from what it sounds like in your stories, from what you have been talking about, as well as even in your book, as well that you've written.
I mean, yeah, I think that's important. I think, you can't do it's, I coach a lot of people, and I always make a joke. It's like, I would have loved to play in the NFL. Well, I can't. Okay, so that's just not going to happen for me. All right, but I think that you have to take stock of what you can do, or sort of stay in your lane. What can you accomplish? What have you been good at? What's been easy for you in your life? And those are probably the guide or guardrails, for lack of a description, to give you some guidance of what you should do in your career, in your life, in your social life, in order to be successful. So, like, sometimes I hear these lines like, "You can do anything." I don't mean to quash anyone's dreams or hopes, but that's not totally true. Some people can do everything, but some people can't. And I think that you can be the best of what your capability is. And you need to learn that. You need to learn what that is. And that's important to, that's where I talk about, like, staying in your lane and understanding that. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want this to be negative and quash anyone's dreams or hopes, but I'm just saying the absurdity of me trying to play in the NFL is, of course, I can't play in the NFL. I'm not capable of doing that. I'm not athletic enough to do that in order to accomplish that goal. And also, I'm old now, but so that's what I'm trying to say. So, but everyone can be successful, no matter what, in whatever they're really good at. And I think every single person has an inner genius. Every single person has something about them that is special. And I'm not just trying to be corny here. They have something about them that's really unique, special. And that is what needs to be brought to the surface. And that's what they should be focused on. And that will make them super successful in whatever that desired or capability is. It's really looking back to, like, what's been easy for you? Like, what's really been easy for you? Also, I'm also going to say, I don't mean to talk so much, there are a lot of people have a lot of negative things that have happened to them, or they've had a lot of challenges, or there's been a lot of friction. I mean, you have, Lambertry, you've had a lot of friction in your life. You talked about some of the issues you've had and how you've overcome them. But, it's hard to do that, and that's part of your journey. And it's also made you who you are today. So you never should, and you talk about it that way. I mean, you talk about that's really made you who you are, and it's been positive for you. Don't look at it as a negative. So, lots of people have had lots of, like, friction, or they have bad parenting, or they've had, horror shows at home, or they've had all sorts of terrible things have happened. But don't look at those things as where that's defines you. You look at those as the things where you grew from, or you look at those things that made you stronger, or you look at those things where you can then grow from that. And that's what you've done. And so that's what I would say to your existing audience is listening to this. Those who have issues, like, you grow from that. Don't fixate on it. Don't make it define you. Don't make those negative things define who you are. Well, I couldn't do this because I had this wrong. If that makes any sense.
Dude, you are 100% with that. And I'm talking about on point, because I do think, Jay, a lot of people make a lot of excuses, man, for, you know, why they've been dealt a bad hand in life, why things didn't go right in life, why the business failed, why the person turned around and didn't give them the break, or why they didn't get even invited, right, to the parties, right? They didn't get RSVP, right? You ever didn't get an RSVP, Jay, to a party?
Nah.
Mike, he's the party man. Listen, Mike, you're listening to Jay.
Don't listen to him.
Being the party man.
No,
Listen,
sir.
He's the cool uncle. So this is true story, right? You know, I remember coming up, right? And this is God honest truth. You know, all the parties would be going on, and my mom and dad would be like, "Oh, no, you're not going to none of that, because anything breaks out, I'm not getting ready to go ahead and have you on the news, right?" And I was like, man, we missed the party because we would hear about it in school the very next day or the very next week. But also we would hear the negative side. Hey, they had a fight at the party. Hey, there was a shooting. Hey, there was this. Hey, there was that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need to actually miss the party life and what we call is the party phase in your life, and get serious about your goals. Get serious about your vision. Get serious about those things you really want to accomplish. You know, we talk about tunnel focus, and that's exactly why when I was going through my worst stages and actually living out of the car with my kids and my wife and sitting there thinking to myself like, man, okay, it's got to be better than this. And I didn't give up. I got tunnel focusing. And not just that, I got hungry. Mike, I got to talk with you, man. Me, Lambo getting ready to have a conversation with the Shapiro, man. Listen, we got to keep it all in, like Lambo Drew gonna keep it out here, right? I got hungry out here, Mike. My kids was hungry. They looking at me wanting some McDonald's, and we talked about that McDonald's before the show, right?
Love it.
Hey, listen, y'all. This is an insider.
Now you can say, keep saying McDonald's. I'm drooling.
I'm just saying, y'all. This is an insider for everybody, man, out there who wants to know. Mike loves Mickey D's, man.
Can't do it.
Mickey D's. Hey, Mike, I'm with you. Them fries, my kids can tell you. They not lying. They can tell you right now. I love the nuggets. The nuggets with the sweet and sour sauce. Do you eat the chicken nuggets too, Mike?
Yeah, of course I do. That's the healthiest thing on the menu, but yes, I eat those. Yes.
Mike, stop playing, man. See, Mike, I knew it was something, man, we're here, but man, me and you. Listen, this is a fat boy moment.
You don't like Wendy's? You don't like Wendy's spicy chicken sandwiches?
It's not a lot I don't like. I'll eat anything.
Hey, Mike,
Wendy's is good.
I'm not lying to you, Mike. I honestly say it to myself. Mike probably has never seen a McDonald's in at least 30 years in his life. Like, I'm exiting out. And then we had that moment before the show when my kids was talking with Mike, and Mike was like, "Oh, y'all want to treat me to McDonald's? Oh yeah, it's on. I love McDonald's.
I love it. Yeah, I don't know how healthy it is, and my wife gets mad when I eat fast food. So it's like I'll like hide in the parking lots of these fast food restaurants and like eat some of the stuff. It's really funny.
Did you say you hide in the parking lot, Mike?
It's like I'm doing something like wrong. Yeah, I'll like hide like I'm eating. It's delicious. Yeah.
Hey,
it's bad habit.
Mike, you got to tell me do you remember who was in the McDonald's commercials and he was the one stealing the McDonald's back in the day? What was his name?
Grand Burglar.
Grand Burglar. Yeah.
The big purple thing.
Yeah. Hamburglar. Grimace.
The Hamburglar.
Hamburglar. See, Hamburglar. See, Dan got us right, man.
Oh no, it wasn't the purple one. He had the stripe.
He had the stripe outfit with the prison,
with the mask.
With the mask. Who was that?
That was him.
That was Hamburger.
Yeah, I don't know where I get the big purple thing from.
There was a purple cast member to that whole thing.
Mike, please tell me you not out there with the prison suit and the Hamburger man out there hiding behind the bushes and everything, man. When people are ordering food, I think we got to have a camera out there in the McDonald's parking lot now.
Right, not yet, anyway. Yeah.
It ain't got to that point, man. But I'm just saying, my wife's been on me, man, about my diet, and I want to talk to you about that, man. I hear like a lot of success, right, man, even comes with the formula of what you intake, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's all of this stuff. Was there anything that you changed on your journey when you were escalating, going up the ladder and saying, you know what, I'm going to cut this out, cut that out, cut this out, because I really want to go ahead and excel and then help others excel behind me?
Well, I've always been sort of a fitness person or fitness junkie.
Mm-hmm.
I've always enjoyed it. I was an athlete in college. It's just part of who I am. and I've continued that throughout my life. I think it's actually kind of important to be fit and to be successful. I think it not only gives you discipline, but it gives you more energy, and I think it clears your mind. So I'm a big proponent of, and it doesn't have to be, I love gyms. I love lifting weights. It doesn't have to be that. It could be yoga. It could be, walking. It could be running. I mean, there are a million different fitness modalities that you can do but I think that's super important for everybody to make sure that you're fit. And I think what you eat is a critical piece of that. And, I think it's a huge form of discipline. It's funny, like I have somebody help me with that and to control my food and what I eat. And so that it's correct. And it has made a huge difference in my health doing that. So it's hard. It's discipline in two things: the discipline of working out constantly, whatever that modality is that you enjoy, and also probably more importantly, what do you put in your body? It's hard. It's very hard. It's part of a disciplined life. But I think those are the building blocks of having a successful life. Whatever it is your goals are, whether it be social, whether it be money, whether you want to give back to the community. I mean, you can't do that without all these other building blocks, which is being fit as best as you can. And that doesn't mean you have to be, like I said, in the weight room. It can mean a million things. You could be walking, you could be hot yoga. I mean, there's so many different ways to be in the fitness, or to be fit, as they say.
Dude, you said that fitness, and instantly, I'm telling you what, my wife, like, I already know she's taking notes like, Mike, yes, I've been trying to tell him he needs to be fit even more. She's been even telling me, like, you can't even get inside of these exotic cars that you in. Look at that Lamborghini, doesn't even fit well with you. Look at you. You're sticking out there, man. You're kind of pudgy in that thing. And I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm gonna be real with you. I literally was on the plane heading here to Ohio. What was the first place I stopped when I got here in Columbus?
Man, this dude stopped at Mr. Habachi.
Straight up. I got to get my fat boy on. They know me. They already know I'm going to eat. If I'm not at a steakhouse somewhere or eating chicken or eating something, man, they already know. And I bought for the whole family. They know when I buy for everybody, right? So my wife is already looking at me like, you done drove over 2 hours and something from Cincinnati Airport. And the first thing you do is stop and get you some Mr. Habachi with the egg yolk sauce. You got to have the egg yolk. And a lot of people don't know about the egg yolk sauce, especially if you are not in Ohio or in Michigan, right? Michigan has egg yolk sauce too, right? I think there's a few.
I mean, they can make it because it's hibachi. So yeah, a lot of hibachi spots can do it. Though.
Yeah, you know about egg yolk sauce, Mike?
It sounds delicious. I don't know about it, but it sounds delicious.
Mike, I gotta get you. Listen, this is what we're gonna do. This is gonna be a true story. We're gonna get you on a plane to Ohio. It's gonna be on Lambo. Me and you gonna come sit out here and meet. And I'm going to get you some egg yolk sauce with some hibachi, man, from like Fujiyama or House of Japan or one of them. And we're going to get you, it's going to be a fit meal. Don't worry about it. But you got to try this egg yolk sauce because they don't have it in like 48 other states, man, outside of Ohio and Michigan, man.
I can't wait to have the egg yolk sauce. Sounds delicious.
Yeah. See, now I'm getting Mike and his fat boy on. He talked about McDonald's. Now he talking about egg yolk sauce with hibachi. See that? See, Lambo is being Lambo out here, man. We talk about some amazing things and we having fun doing it, y'all. So y'all just go ahead and chill out in the chat. We're going to get to y'all in a minute and stuff. Right, little bro?
For sure.
Mike, man, listen, talk to us, man, because I really want to talk about this journey. I mean, you had the journey of both sides of the investor, and everybody know that the Leverage Show, we talk a lot about investing. It's a lot about self-awareness and preparing yourself for the long game, right? Whether you're setting yourself up financially or whether you're setting yourself up, man, for health, wealth, whatever the reasons may be. Tell me one thing that inspired you to definitely get into that tricky game called the stock market.
I think it was just early on in my career. I was introduced to a trading floor on the SIBO, and I just was so enthralled and excited. I just felt like it was the center of the universe, and I think I just loved it. I just loved the whole concept. I just loved the whole world. I love the fact that that's where read the tape comes from. Comes from reading a ticker tape and making decisions rapidly about investments, and learning about how people react to things. So it was just something that I had a passion for. I just really enjoyed it, and it was a career that I thrived in. Being on a trading floor and being a stock options trader.
I'm Mike. I sit back up in here and I hear people say that they start off with it, and Lambo has dibbled and dabbled in it. A lot of my friends, like, they either have their own platforms, they've got their own brokerage firms, or even some crypto firms as well, or hedge funds as well, that a lot of my friends are with. And I asked them, I said, dude, I don't know, how did you do it? How did you last this long? And literally they say, well, Lambo, we actually, when we got burned out, we had another guy doing it for us that would help us out, in the long run. Was that something that you leaned on when you were actually having some? Because not every trader has great months and everything is great out of the gate and it stays consistent.
No,
Where there's something that you leaned on?
You learn by failing. I mean, it was a disaster up front. I mean, I wasn't just instantly successful. I mean, I lost a lot of money before I became, and I learned, certain things. I just learned how to be wrong. I mean, basically in trading, or, when I was a stock option trader, you basically learn how to be wrong constantly, and then learn when you're right to keep that specific investment to be quite, to redact it down to as simple as possible. But your show, the leverage show, is the idea of Wall Street or banking and all these things. It is all about leverage. I mean, it's the name of your show to some degree. And that's really where people don't understand that. It's using leverage to effectively increase your profitability. So almost all of these games that people play, and they're not games, or hedge funds or investing, it's leverage. Or banks. I mean, banks are some of the most leveraged institutions in our society, and people don't realize that. I think that every dollar that you deposit at a bank, I think they lend out 10. That leverage may have changed somewhat, but I think that's the last thing I heard. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I heard it was every 10 to $1. So
Yeah.
So if every dollar they lend out definitely is $10 that they're making and everything on the backside of profit from that.
Loaning out. So I think, there's leverage. So when I was on a trading floor, when I was a stock option trader, you're you're registered as, like, I was Merrill Lynch as an individual. So effectively speaking, it's 5% leverage. So every $50,000 controls $1 million of assets. So it is leverage. So, like, I don't think people necessarily understand some of the mechanics of these worlds that they look at. But there is no fast buck. There's no such thing. There never has been. And things that drive me crazy is people say, like, invest in this and invest in that. Honestly, investing is about a long-term strategy. It's about good people, good companies, good ideas, sound concepts, sound marketing, well-financed. It isn't just, yes, people win the lottery, obviously. I'm not saying people don't win the lottery, but it's rare. So it drives me crazy. I hear, like, I made this overnight, or I did this overnight. That's not necessarily always true. It's not true a lot of the time. So it bothers me, a lot of the things I see on social media today, the fallacies of success, or the fallacies of these lifestyles. I mean, it's really about a long-term strategy. It's about investing correctly. It's about, planning. It's not that easy. So, I mean, I don't mean to ruin the concept of making a fast buck. And like I said, some people do win the lottery, obviously, but for most people, they don't.
Dude, now hold on, Mike. Let's be real with you. It seems like to me, though, you've had the hot hand for quite some time. Even though you said, hey, man, it's not a luck thing, you literally went on ahead and took a company going bankrupt to billions.
But that it's also like timing. And so, it's also, I mean, I appreciate you giving me all this credit, but I mean, I was also prepared as a trader. So as a trader, when you're trading stocks or options for that matter, I was prepared. So when I recapitalized this company, it was going into bankruptcy because it was 2008. So I already knew, like, you know, the old story, like everyone rattles the cage to get in and everyone rattled the cage to get out. At that moment in time, people were rattling the cage to get out of real estate. Like, oh my gosh, it's collapsing. And I knew that that was the opportunity to go in. So it is timing. So yeah, there's an element to that, but I had learned that from the trading floor. Does that make any sense? But I had failed a ton. This story of mine is not filled. There's tons of failure. There's a ton of things that I've done wrong. I lost a ton of money on the floor before I became successful. So no, it is not just a one-way street. I mean, I appreciate your vote of confidence, but it isn't. But I think a lot of successful people, they don't tell you about that. They don't want to tell you about that, or they're not telling the truth about it or whatever. So I think it's a journey, and I think that you learn from your mistakes and you grow from your mistakes. And you grow from all of the adversity, whether it be adversity that you had as far as, you know, living in your car with your kids. That adversity made you who you are today, and you're successful because of that. And it's an important part of your story. Or the adversity of making the wrong investment, or blowing an idea that you thought was great and it didn't, and you have to, you know, learn from those mistakes. So adversity is what makes people great. Adversity and being wrong is what creates the long-term success, because that's how you learn. That's how you generate those ideas. That's how you stay motivated. That's how you stay focused, for lack of a description.
Mike, I'm sorry to say this, man. You just spit so much game right there. That was amazing, man. I swore I was listening to a Birdman rap. I swore I was listening to Cash Money. I mean, are you a rapper, man? On like, yeah, you hear that call? Mike, you got to tell us, do you like do rapping on the side? Or are you listening to like 50 Cent or Birdman or JayZ on the side? Because
I'm not that talented, but yeah, I appreciate the vote of confidence again.
I'm just saying, man, you know, one of the greatest things that I literally heard Birdman, shout out to him, say, adversities will make a man out of a man. And you just was speaking on adversities. And I'm laughing as I'm looking at you. I'm like, he sounds like he's listening to JayZ. You know, Jay?
Yeah.
Well, I was in my own podcast and read the tape, and I was interviewing my co-host Rodney Matthews, and he had his mom on. His mom was amazing. His mother runs this charity for foster kids, and she's an incredible, generous. I mean, she just lived her life for others, and it's an extraordinary story. And she came from tremendous adversity, and she talked about like the adversity of, you know, what changed her tremendously was she, you know, she said that she could not. Her car broke down and she needed to go to the supermarket to feed her kids. And she didn't have enough money to fix her car. So she got on a bus, public transportation, took her kids to the supermarket. And then she got back on the bus, and her, you know, 7-year-old sons, if I have the story correctly, the bag broke and their produce was rolling around the bus floor. And like, she looked in the eyes of her children and she was so horrified, like, okay, that's it. So that adversity of like not having enough to money to fix my car, not having enough to, you know, help my child or my children, changed her dramatically. And she completely adjusted her world and now she is not only incredibly successful, she's successful in helping others in the worst possible circumstances. So those are the motivating facts of people's lives, whatever that is. Those are the reasons people get places, where they become great. That's when you have great people, when they face adversity. And I know there's different levels of it, and I'm not arguing that, but I'm saying that really is what makes somebody an incredible human being. So that's what I believe in.
Mike, I really want to say this to you, because everything that you said is amazing. And I shout out to Rodney first. Like, Rodney is his wonderful co-host, Jay, and he's born in 1992. Is that right? Did I get it right?
Yeah, he's young, very young.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's up.
Mike, how is it like doing a shout out to, man, read the tape, man. Shout out to that podcast and what they're doing. How is it like working side by side with Rodney, man, and coming with a fresh and new spin on things? And you guys are in the room and behind the mics and the cameras, just doing some amazing things. How is it like working with Rodney, man? Because Rodney is amazing. I watched the videos, Rodney, and he's killing the game, man. And you flow well.
He's great. I mean, he's it was important for the podcast to have different viewpoints and ages, and I wanted everyone to have their voice heard. And I think that through my eyes, I see certain things. Through eyes, he sees certain things, and I wanted to have that element to it. I think I just wanted to, as we talk to other entrepreneurs or talk to people, whatever their success is, or I'm coaching some people. I think it's important to have multiple ages in the room, and people have different things. And I learn from him. I mean, he learns from me. I learn from him. So yeah, it's great. I mean, he's a terrific young man, and he's got a massively bright future in front of him. And he's obviously well along his way. And he was on that show, The Bachelor. And so it's increased his exposure. I mean, he's part of that Bachelor Nation, so he has a large number of followers. So it makes him, he's got a platform that he can speak from, and it helps him in his career choice, which is real estate.
Shout out to my guy Rodney. Say the Bachelorette, man. Well, I got two bachelors right here, man. You got Rodney, you got Jay. We got to put them on the show together.
There you go. All right.
They're living their best life. Jay, you living your best life, man.
Ain't going back and forth. Y'all know the song.
You know that song, Mike? You ain't going. Lil Duval, man.
No, how's that song go?
Go ahead.
I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life.
You have a good life. All right,
we gotta go on ahead and get the actual tape. We gotta send it to Mike and have Mike do like a TikTok, man, off of that. You and Rodney do a TikTok off of that, man. For that.
Off of it.
Yeah. You got it. We could call it the hashtag the best life, man. Living my best life, man. That. I love it, man. I mean, like I said, Rodney, man, he just brings so much energy, man. And then when I found that out, I had to look twice, like, what? Did he just say 92? And I said, man, that is amazing, man. And it's y'all energy is just amazing. Like I said, everybody, make sure you guys definitely go like and subscribe to that Red Tape podcast today, because they are definitely dropping bangers, man, out there.
Thank you.
Shout out to y'all. Y'all even had, I thought he was your brother at one time, Daniel Shapiro on there, but he was the surgeon from the plastic surgeon. I think he was.
Yeah. He's a really well-known plastic surgeon. That was really interesting. I've been friends with him for probably like 25 years, and I really never talked to him about like what he does. I mean, you just don't. We're friends, and I talk about your surgery. So it was interesting to me, about what people want, and what people think is beautiful or not beautiful. So it was interesting. I mean, I always find everyone fascinating. I think everyone has something to share. I think people's lives are fascinating, and I love hearing people's stories. I love people's narratives. It's great. It's motivating to me, and I learn from everybody, and it makes me more creative. I just like hearing, and you have amazingly good energy, and you're very, very happy human being. I mean, through, obviously we're on a electronic medium here, but I mean, I can vibe your charisma and your capability. I mean, so you probably are, you are successful, and you can be incredibly successful because of that positive attitude and that incredible amount of charisma. I can vibe it through the screen. So it's awesome.
Mike, I received that. Did you just speak billions on me this way? He spent billions this way.
Billions.
No, that's what he said. That's what he said. I'm
billions.
Mike, I received that. Jay, you received that?
For sure.
Huh?
For sure.
Man, what would you do, man? Let's just say we get that, we receive that, and we just start going ape crazy with it. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Well, I want to do some stuff like Mike would do. What you gonna do, Jay?
First thing I would do, man, is take care of mom.
Gotta take care of mama.
Gotta take care of mom.
Man,
take care of the family.
Man, I want to get started, man. I'm trying to set my mama up, man. She don't even know it yet. That's why I don't even talk too much about it. I'd be like, hey, sit there. I ain't got to talk with you too much. Just sit there. You got to go on here, man, and take care of mama. So he said first thing he gonna take care of mama. What you gonna take care of mama with?
Man, get mom, man, whatever she want.
Hey,
Hey, his mom. Gotta love mom. Man.
Gotta love moms, man.
Gotta love mom.
Gotta love
Take
moms.
care of the
That's
family
awesome.
for sure.
So now I'm gonna ask that question to you, Mike. What happened when things started really pivoting and started moving for you? And then all of a sudden you started seeing status and things started happening. Your bank account got a whole lot larger, influence got a whole lot larger. What were some of the things that you decided to do to help reward people around you?
You share in your success, you share in your wealth, you share your dreams, you share whatever you can. I mean, I think that I've always been a person to share. You make a lot more charitable contributions. You try to help others, through time, through money. I think you can't, as they say, fix the world, but you fix what's in front of you. So if you have the resources to do that, then you do it. I think there's no excuse for not doing that. So if you see a problem, you fix it. And so I think that's what you do as you become more successful and more capable. And it's not only about money. Everyone always is so focused on that. I mean, I know that's important as a tool, but that's what it is. It's a tool, okay? And it's also about your time and your capability and your management skills or your ability to open other doors. So, I mean, don't forget that. So I think that's what I think happens as you get older and you learn more. You can help things, you can change things around.
I did something, I think it was Tuesday on the show. And Jay, I don't know if you remember, you caught that. I actually had a prelude to you getting here, right, Mike? So I was actually rolling out the red carpet before you got here.
Oh, there you go.
And brother, I was landing on thick. Mike, I got you covered. Mike, I got you. We're down in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. I got Mike covered. Don't worry about it. And I'm telling everybody, I said, man, what does your vision look like? Does it look like just you? And does it look like your life just benefiting you when you get a bag and things start going well? Or are you ready to begin to opening up other doors for everybody else? Are you really ready to bless other people? Are you ready to give back? How is your giving? How does your chart look like and your vision look like when it actually comes to really helping other people? And Mike, you answered that question so eloquently just now, stating that you're looking in the lens of yourself like, hey, it's not all about money. It's not all about this. You're actually looking back saying, how can I help somebody else? What can I do to help people?
I think that's important. I think everyone should be doing that. I think everyone should help others. I think whatever that case may be, whatever you can do, I think that's important. I try to do it every day. I try to help somebody. If they're in front of me, I try to help them. It doesn't always work, but I try. And so, I think my favorite words back to me when I've helped people is, it really makes me feel the best is like I hear those magic words and they say, Mike, you changed my life. And I said, it makes me feel so great. That's like the ultimate, that's the ultimate payment for me when I hear that I've changed or alters people's lives to make them get where they want to go, whatever their goals are, whatever their needs, whatever they need to accomplish. And it's not always money. There's all sorts of other things, which I think we focus on as a society too much. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying we focus on it too much sometimes.
Facts. No, 100%. You think we focus on money a lot, Jay?
Yeah, man. Got to.
Well, the bill man makes sure that they make sure that we focus on it. Right. The bill man, they send you your invoice, they send you your bills.
Right.
Come on, Dan. You got a couple of bills out there, man, that they send into in your mailbox, Dan. Right. Dan says he doesn't even check them. You see that?
They send you bills. I know. I'm not trying to be silly or flippant. I mean, I obviously it's an important part of your life. It's an important part. It's a tool. It changes your life and it accomplishes things with it. But it is just a tool. It is also your experiences and your capability and your adversity that you had in your life, and so you can help others get out of that adversity. It's not like giving them money. It's like teaching them. Where do you need to go, or what are you great at, or what can I help you get to that goal, or what job can I help you get? So that's what I'm trying to say. It's sometimes people sometimes the easiest thing to do is give them money. Okay, it's really not what they need. They need your knowledge or your capability or your work. Sometimes the easiest thing to do, like I just gave money, I'm like, I'm done. That's not necessarily the best thing to do.
Yeah, well, I can honestly tell you this right now. You're 100% that, because there's so much stuff that's bigger, right, than just the financial side. And I think that indicated you, I guess, when your journey, when you had turned around and started moving the company and started making so much of a massive move and helping the company out financially, you literally pivoted and he got back into mentorship and really helping people move the nozzle into their own lives. Let's talk about that, Mike, because I don't think that most people understand what real mentorship looks like versus also what people perceive a leader looks like. You begin to give back time, wisdom, effort right there from the company. And then also, even after you move the nozzle, man, financially for the company. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, leadership is different than mentorship, because mentorship is, I'd say, hyper granular. It's like helping each individual is different. And so my mentorship or my coaching is, very specific to each individual, because each person is very different. Leadership is being able to define what the goal is, being able to have an amazing narrative, being able to explain what you're doing, being able to lead people so they actually follow you, being able to listen capably. So they're very different skill sets. They're not the same. I think that sometimes great mentors don't make great leaders, and vice versa. I think that there's always an interesting story, like, are great leaders born or are they made? I think it's a combination of both. Are great mentors born or are they made? And I think it's a combination of both. But I think great mentors are great listeners. They listen to what the person needs. They are trying to adjust. What do I need? What do I need to do? How do I get that person to be their best that they can be? Versus leadership, where you're moving a company or moving a group, or trying to get to a specific goal. It's very different. When I'm a leader in my organization, I'm CEO in various organizations. I am a different person. I mean, I'm always the same person, but I do it differently than when I'm sitting alone and trying to be a mentor, because I'm sensitive to what do they need. It's a lot of it's sometimes it's friendship, sometimes it's counseling, sometimes it's just having somebody hear what they have to say, sometimes it's adjusting. But leadership isn't the same. And there's two types of leadership. People go to school and they go get these massive degrees, and I'm defining it in two separate things. There are many, many different types of leaderships, but leaderships are, there's always that relationship-oriented leadership, and there's also task-oriented leadership. Task-oriented leadership is really like the Army or military is a classic task-oriented. There are no options. This is what you're doing. Take it or leave it. And relationship-oriented leadership is like, I'm being very sensitive, and their organizations like Google is more relationship-oriented. I want you to feel good. You're running around, bouncing around on balls in the office, bring your dog. I mean, I'm not making fun of it. It's just different types of companies, leadership. And they both work out. It's not like either one is better or worse. Although you tend to get more loyalty from relationship-oriented leadership than you do from task-oriented. But they're both effective. So it's just different. Anyway, I can ramble on here, and I'm effectively trying to explain two different concepts. So, I think you need to be a leader, though, when you're a mentor with the person that you're mentoring, but it's just different,
Dude, no, you broke that all the way down. We was eating that up like butter. I'm like, dude, you ate that up then?
For sure, bro. You speeding it up.
I mean, listen, Mike, you went right into your zone, and I said, take Lambo to school. Let me know, man. Take Lambo to school, man. Because I think that's so key, man, for a lot of us out there, and a lot of people and the viewers who are actually watching today and will watch the rebroadcast and even watch your podcast as well. They're looking for answers. They're looking for leadership. They're looking for mentorship. They're looking for direction that allows them to either get out of the place that they're currently at to be able to scale to that next level, right? Whether that's a personal goal, a corporate goal, a community goal, whatever goal that is. And I think, Mike, you're bringing that more laser focus of what they should be looking for, minus what they've probably been experiencing at this point.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, people need different things. Sometimes they need to feel really good that they're making the right decisions. Sometimes they need to just be heard. They're just different things with mentorship. It's just different. And leadership, that's why I talk about read the room or read the tape. Like when you're leading an organization, what is the makeup of the organization? How are they moving? What is the culture of the organization? I mean, you have to adjust. Effective. That's why you see failures, like leadership failures that you read about in all these business, in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, or whatever. Like a CEOs getting fired or whatever, because they're not leading correctly the organization that they been put in charge of. It's like the CEO of Starbucks was just let go, and they brought in a new CEO, and I think he was the CEO of Chipotle. Actually, Chipotle is based here in Newport Beach. So they were looking for somebody that fit their culture to take them out of their sales are going down. So the existing leader was not adjusting to the existing culture. He didn't understand it. They tried to immerse him in it, but he didn't get it, and he couldn't get out of his own way. He couldn't get. I mean, they'll study this in business books or what happened, and there's probably more to the story. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes the best leaders are the ones that can adjust quickly. The best leaders are the ones who are listening. The best leaders are the ones that are like, how can I move this organization correctly, or how do I get people to a certain place in a positive way, in my opinion. Now, I can probably have 10 people argue with me right now and saying, no, that's not right. But to me, that's what I would think.
Well, I'm going to say this to you. They can argue what they want, but your track record shows that you know what you're talking about, right?
I appreciate the vote of confidence, but I'm not always right. I'm wrong a lot. Like I told you before, I'm wrong 49% of the time. Or I always make the joke, whatever I tell you to do, just do everything opposite and you'll be fine.
Hey, I will take that opposite. Give me that 49%. I bet on your 49%. Your 49% and my 49% may be two different 49%.
That's
all. Man. So I know we get to this part of the show, man, where people are finally getting to learn.
My phone off. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Yeah, Mike's going to answer his phone, man. While he's there, man, it's an amazing time. But shout out to Mike, just doing an amazing job as we out here, man, asking all of these great questions. Now, in the next 10 minutes, there is a link that is actually in there for those and everything, man, who want to come backstage and actually ask Mike, get on camera, ask Mike a question, whether you want to cam up, mic up, the whole nine, you will be able to ask him that. And that literally that link is right there in the description. You guys can start hitting that link now. Again, the top 5 to be able to go ahead and get back and come backstage, and we'll let you know that you guys are backstage so you guys can come on the show and ask Mike your questions. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Again, Mike has been very transparent, and we definitely want to go ahead, man, and show some amazing respect, but also, man, amazing questions to go ahead and challenge him. Right, Jay?
For sure.
All right. Well, let's bring Mike back on, man, real quick. And before we go on ahead, man, and have everybody start coming on. Again, click that link. The link is in the description. That StreamYard link that is on the channel. You see it right there on the broadcast. You want to make sure you click that link. Yep.
I see the comments or no? Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Can you see the comments?
Yeah, I can see them now. Sorry.
Yeah. So again, like I say, the next 10 minutes, they can start clicking that link now if they want to. Again, we will be taking 5 questions. Just limited to 5. We don't want to have Mike here all night long answering questions like that. All right. So I think that, and please let me know in the chats if you guys can click the link or something's wrong with that link. But yeah, just click the link, follow the instructions. You should be able to log into the backstage, and we'll see you backstage before you guys can go ahead and come on, man, to the show. All right. Shout out and everything to JJC. I already see them backstage already. Shout out and everything, man, to Ken Haney. I already see him backstage already. And a few more, man. Y'all keep going ahead, man, and come on. But we see y'all backstage already. But Mike, man, I literally, man, I told you Lambo done his homework about you. And I want to get into this book. What made you write the book? And write the books, not just the book, the books, and really be able to open up, share your thoughts, share your hearts to so many of the people, man, out here. And also it to really go ahead and have the impact that it has had globally like it's had.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence again. First of all, I wrote a book, not books, but I've written a lot of things. I've written blogs and things like that. So give me time, although I think I'm going to write another book. But what motivated me was simply my father always wanted to write a book. And so I wanted to finish that. My dad lost my father very early in my life. He was 55 years old. I was 25 years old. So when I lost him, and so that was really the motivation. So I just kept at it. It took a long time, to be honest with you. It's not an easy thing to accomplish. I had a lot of help. And it's, it's funny when you're writing manuscripts, and then you start reading what you're writing. It's hard to even, like, you keep reading the same thing. I don't know if you find that yourself, like even your show notes or whatever. Like, I don't know what I'm reading anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is this right? Is this wrong? Is it, so I think that I think it's just a long process. You need a lot of other people involved in it, and editors, and I've had a lot of help doing it, frankly. And it was changed dramatically, to make it more commercially successful. So, I mean, I think it's, I think the first starts out with writing what you want, and then it goes to where you have advisors telling you how to deal with things. Let's put it that way, and how to create a better product.
Yeah. Well, I think they not only created a better product. I mean, we've had people, man, who definitely, got a chance to pick up your book, read through it, and it really helped them out, because a lot of the things, man, that we don't know, right, Jay, we just don't know. You learn from, like, trial and error, going through experience, and you wish you did have somebody, right, giving you advice. He said I gave him advice. Shout out to man JayZ saying I gave him advice and then helping out. But what if you didn't have that ear? What if you didn't have Lambo Drew? What if you didn't have Mike Shapiro? What if you didn't have so many more other leaders out here? Who do you turn to? What do you do? Do you start from anywhere, or do you start just by just saying, well, you know what, I just got to start and just see exactly what sticks at this point?
I think it's the old story. You just got to put one foot for the other. So if you're writing a book, then you start writing. So write one sentence, write a second sentence, and it doesn't matter if it looks good or bad. It doesn't matter if it's English or not English. It doesn't matter what it says. Just do it. And I think a lot of people just don't do things, like, oh, it's overwhelming, I can't do it. So you just do it. So what if you fail? No big deal. I mean, it's easy for me to say that now, because it's accomplished and it's out and it's published, and it's exciting, and I've been in airports, and people make fun of me because where you're placed in an airport. So if I'm on the bottom shelf, I have friends who fly around for a living, and they'll take a picture of my book on the bottom shelf, and they'll text me, and I'm like, put it up there, put it up, So anyway, but the end result is like anything you want to accomplish is you just put one foot in front of the other. Like, okay, what do we need to do now? That's all. Just don't give up. People just give up. I think it's overwhelming, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. I mean, try, give it a shot. It's not that it's a hard thing to do, but you don't know unless you try, frankly.
Facts. I love that. I love that, man.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Nothing to it but to do it, man. Let's get to it, JayZ. Players ball. All right, listen, we want to bring up our first guest, man. Shout out and everything, man, to this awesome couple, Mike. They definitely been waiting for you, and definitely want to bring them to the screen to go on ahead and answer. They have definitely made multi-millions in this automation space. And definitely, I told you that they've got an amazing podcast that's definitely about to hit almost 500,000 views. We want to bring to the stage JJC Automation, Julie and Jeremiah, who are some dear friends of Lambo. Welcome to the stage, Julie and Jeremiah. Shout out to you guys.
We can't hear you.
I think you guys are muted. See if we can unmute yourself.
There we go. Sorry.
There you go. There you go. CJ Dog.
I think Lambo muted us.
I did not mute y'all. Y'all better start it. See Dan. See how they're giving me the blame, Dan. You see how that? You seen that, Jay? They're giving me the blame like that, man.
Let's have that mute button. Wouldn't it be great?
I seen her move her finger.
I'm telling you,
her move her finger.
You seen her move her finger. I'm trying to tell you, they will give me that charge, and I'm not trying to have that charge. Give George that charge. You know, Lambo gonna be Lambo out here, man. I'm excited,
bell,
man.
Lambo. You could have hit the bell on that one.
Yeah, I would have hit the bell on that one. You already know, man. Well, welcome to the show, man. I will go on ahead and let you guys answer questions because I do think you and Mike are truly, first of all, will have an amazing relationship moving forward. And I will definitely get you connected with them. But go ahead, Julie Jeremiah, ask away because they will keep you here all night if they can, Mike.
I would love to pick your brain for hours, I'm sure. But you know, a lot of people always talk about their aha moment or what was the best thing. But you talked earlier, and it really spoke to like Jeremiah and I about what was the most unexpected challenge that you had faced, you know, throughout your journey. And sometimes it's business, sometimes it's personal, whatever it is. And you know, everything that you face, you have to figure out what that solution is or what the window or the door is to be able to get out of it. But what was something that was really impactful for you?
My wife got cancer at age 39. We were living a extraordinarily blessed and life of, you know, things were just amazing. Yeah. She got breast cancer. And she's obviously fine today. It was like 20 something years ago. So not good. Yeah. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge. You know, your loved one, your partner, your most important person to you in your life, you know, facing mortality. And so I think it changed me dramatically in a lot of ways. She went through it. I went through it with her. And I think that would probably be the biggest challenge we've ever faced, because I think that's the ultimately hardest challenge one can face.
Agreed.
As far as tragedy is concerned. So it changed me dramatically. It changed me into a better person. My wife talks about it all the time, says that this is an odd thing to say, some of the most peaceful times in her life were some of the easiest times, and it was really hard for her. She had double mastectomy, chemo, radiation, everything. There was a singular focus to her survival. That's what she wanted to do, and we just were you know, financially blessed to be able to just focus on that and like literally not focus on any businesses at that moment in time, and just, you know, focus on her health. So she came out of that great, and that was probably a most singular difficult thing. I think after you go through something like that, business difficulties or any kind, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, like now I laugh, like he was like, oh my gosh, this is so, I'm like, no, it's not.
No. Right.
It's easy.
Put things in perspective. I would imagine.
Perspective is everything, and it's hard to stay in that place. I think that staying in that place of, you know, that moment, living in the moment, living in that second of joy is hard to stay there. But it's really important for all of us because, you know, as you get further and further from those events, you go back to the normal thing, like, you know, this is bothering me, or, you know, things. So I don't mean to dampen everyone's mood here, being so very serious. But you asked me.
Yes, yeah, no, it is. It's very powerful.
Yes,
and I'm grateful and thankful that you spoke about it, because I think that same challenges, I think, face a lot of people, and they don't always come through it. Not just physically, physically they may come through it, but it, you know, could have torn them apart or broke them apart. So you didn't allow that to happen.
Having been in those chemo centers, or having been in the radiation centers, and being able to be there with her, I was always shocked to see really see who people are. Like, those events do break marriages up, or you see like children with cancer was horrible things to witness, and you see parents, like, you know, not being together, or you see all sorts of things. So I think those challenges are life defining and who those people are and how they navigate those issues. So yeah, I think those are amazing things. You hear these horrible stories, and some people just can't deal with it. I mean, I don't want to be judgmental because, you know, I'm judgmental from the perspective, like, how could you possibly not stay married, or how could you not stay together when your child's sick, or how do you, you know, I don't understand that, but these things happen. The stresses, the you know, the vulnerabilities, they're horrible situations, and people
Yeah.
deal with different things. But if you go through those things, the rest of it is pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My mother always used to say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So,
Right.
and I believe that for sure. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
That is not their only question, Mike. They got 2 more questions loaded up. This is JJC.
You're gonna let me? You're gonna let me?
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all, because only because you're Lambo, and you know I got y'all.
You
Lambo
muted
got
us.
y'all.
I
I
knew it.
muted y'all. So now you go ahead and get your 2 more questions out of there. Go ahead.
You know, our children are grown now. They're in their 20s. We have grandchildren now. But one thing I always look back on is, and I would like to hear what you have to say, is what advice would you give to your younger self to maybe miss a few of the potholes, or do you think that you wouldn't because that's what made you who you are today?
I think the regrets are some of the most poisonous things you can have in your life. And so I think you just move forward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to say, I can go back through the tapes, you know, like, what did I do? Or did I make mistakes? Of course, I made a million mistakes. Did I do something wrong? Of course, I did tons of things that are wrong. Or, you know, I mean, it's endless. I mean, you know, like every day I always make a joke, like, what am I going to do wrong today? I mean, I'm going to do something wrong, or I'm going to say something wrong, or I'm going to piss someone off, or, you know, you know, I always make a joke, like, I have a 51% approval rating. That's like 49% of the people hate me, 51% of the people love me. And I think you're achieving when you do that. In fact, I'm trying to coach somebody recently who like wants to be loved by everybody. And so I told him that I wanted him to find an enemy immediately. So that was my assignment. You need an enemy. So it sounds funny, but I was like trying to say, like, sometimes the best thing is for you to understand, in order to accomplish, you need to be able to express yourself and to say, anyway, that's not really your question. So,
well, it sort of is, because, you know, to your point, enemies, they sharpen you, competition sharpens you. And so having that alter person or persons or business or company out there, I think, you know, makes you better.
Yeah, I mean, just like move forward. If you have regrets, I mean, everyone does. I mean, I'm not saying I don't. Just move forward. Well, so fix it. What were the regrets? Fix it. Don't just sit there. Like, you know, what are you going to do about it? Like, oh, I have regrets. I wish I did. I wish I did. And I wish I, you know, like, that's,
until you build a time machine, right?
yeah. I mean, you know, like, I wish, like, don't do that. Easier said than done. I know I sound like, oh, wow. You know, of course, everyone has things like, I should have done it this way. I shouldn't have done it that way, but don't, like, try not to. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good advice. Really good advice. Well, Lambo's going to let me do one more, I think. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, specifically about business. I think there's so many in the audience today that we know and communicate with, and are entrepreneurs, and whether they've started their own business or they work for an entrepreneur, you know, who has theirs, or a bigger company. What's one of the most important things? You talked a little bit about, you know, leadership and the different styles, and there is so many different styles, but you kind of find your own leadership in your own way. I don't think you can make leaders out of everybody, because everybody's born different and have different strengths and weaknesses, but collectively they can be the most powerful thing. How do you build that collective power within your organization?
Well, that's a kind of a complex question, as far as organizational concepts. Like, so it's like, are you coming in as a leader after an organization's built, or are you building the organization? Were you the first starter? So like, things change,
Right.
but, you know, leadership styles have to be natural for who you are and how you communicate. Leadership is definitive, people make mistakes about leadership where you have to have definitive commentary. Like, you can't be waffling around. So when you want to be a leader, you say, like, we're doing it this way. Now, you may, while you're saying it, actually think you're wrong at that moment in time, but we fix that later. So otherwise you don't sound like a leader. This sounds ridiculous the way I'm saying, but I always find it funny when I see leadership, like they're changing like during it. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't admit that you were wrong. You should always admit that you're wrong, but you need to be definitive as a leadership role. Otherwise, people will be concerned. You don't know what they're doing. They're not there or whatever. So it's just an interesting theory. Leadership is posturing. Leadership is also props. People need different things for leadership. You know, sometimes people need props. I need like, you know, some people need things like materialistic things like a fancy watch, or they need a car, or people need like clothes, or some people have different presence. There's all sorts of styles of leadership or capability. Some people are natural. They walk in the room and they have massive charisma, and they're like, I own it. I own the room. They feel it. But what is the key critical component of leadership? That you believe you're the leader. If you don't believe it, and you think you're faking it, and we all fake it to make it. Of course, I'm saying it like, you know, when you're a kid, you're always faking it to make it, as they say. But at some point, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe you're a leader. You have to believe in your leadership style. Because if you don't, guess what? Nobody else will.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
You get up on stage, or you get up in front of your company, or you get up in front of whatever you're leading, even your own family. You can't, better believe what you're saying. That moment in time.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
Sure.
Thank you, Lambo.
Thanks, Lambo.
You welcome, JJC. You already know what time it is, man. I always gonna show love, man, to y'all. I got them 3 questions, so now I'm on the good foot, right, Jay?
Right, you right.
We on the good foot now. We on the good foot now, man.
This is good.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have our very next guest, man. My guy, Ken Haney, is in the building, man. Shout out to Ken Haney. Definitely, I know he was going to be on here, man. So you definitely want to go on ahead and make sure you are unmuted. And Ken, I know his camera ain't off. Ken got his camera somewhere. I don't know. He's on a resolution screen or what. But Ken, you are now officially in the building. Go ahead, my friend.
Man, I can't believe this. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you. Ken.
Awesome. Well, I'm not going to waste time trying to figure out the camera and the technological difficulties. As I was telling Julie today on the call, I said, technology is only good when it works and the operator knows what they're doing, which is me 99.9% of the time. So, Mr. Shapiro, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ken. You look better than you've ever looked.
Thank you so much. I'm all dressed up too. You can't see it.
Oh, wow.
Please allow me this digression for a moment. Jay, you look great at that table, brother, man. I can't wait to do a podcast.
What up, though?
I was in a co-hatch co-working space in Northwest Columbus, Dublin, Ohio today, talking to Julie. And beside me in another room was a YouTube podcaster that I sometimes watch. He's a former Ohio State wide receivers coach. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
And that was kind of interesting. So I'm looking at your set, Lambo, and if you're at a co-hatch somewhere here in Columbus and I don't know it, we're going to fight. Now, answer my question. Mr. Shapiro, I've ordered your book. I subscribe to your podcast. Thank you very much. I don't know what or if you look at anything on YouTube, but some of the things I look at say that, you know, as an economy, we are headed for a banking crisis, a financial crisis, blah, 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 blah. Do you believe that is my first question. And if so, part 2 is, what would you recommend we do to prepare?
Okay. This is thank you for the question, because this is one of the great things I think is funny. First of all, if anyone tells you that they know what's going to happen, run. Okay. No one knows. Absolutely no chance. There are educated guesses on probabilities in economic reality or stocks or bonds and things like that. So there's no way to know, simply because all assets are correlated to others. So what I mean by that is that political behavior, bonds are correlated to stocks, housing is correlated to stocks. So there's all of this movement in asset classes. So I think a lot of people want to, it's a sale to say like the world's coming to an end. It's a sale to say stocks are going down. It's a sale to tell everybody how horrible things are. There are probabilities associated with, ups and downs, but I'm a believer in long-term investing strategies. So no, I don't think things are going to come unwound. I mean, my opinion on valuations are meaningless, frankly, because I don't know. So I think, sometimes I do think that the stock market's a little overvalued, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to go up and it's not going to keep going up. That's my own personal opinion. Like I have a tech company I'm with in Seattle, and we're pricing every single house by the second. And it's really the artificial intelligence version or aspect of this is using all sorts of correlative data to create, why is housing prices moving by the second. So in my opinion, the housing is actually moving the stock market around, at this point in history. So, so I'm not really answering your question definitively because you want a definitive question. But what would I do to protect myself? Have a diverse portfolio. Don't be all in one thing. Have lots of different assets, and then you're protected because not everything will go down. And don't focus on the latest thing. Don't focus on everyone's in artificial intelligence. That's an error in judgment. Or everyone's focused on crypto. That's a mistake. Or everyone's focused on this. Buy a house. Buy a great portfolio of stocks, buy high grade bonds or whatever you're into, but don't get so focused on one area. Or focus on your own business, focus on yourself. Sometimes that's the best investment of all, if you have other if those are the resources that you want to use. So I know I'm not answering what you want to hear, but I'm not going to pontificate on what's going to happen because I have no idea, nor does anyone else. And don't ever listen to anyone who tells you they know what's going to happen tomorrow because they don't. Simply
you answered, Mr. Shapiro. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Lambo.
You're welcome, Ken. My friend, appreciate you.
All right, Ken.
All right, we got my guy Isidro is in the building. Definitely a great friend to the show. Everybody knows him as IC in the comments, man. And he's been waiting for this. He says, Lambo, I've actually studied Mr. Shapiro, ordered the book. I've did everything, man. And I'm telling you, it's right up Issa's alley. He's actually in Utah, wonderful native of Utah at this point, and so glad that he's got a chance to make it to the broadcast. Isidro, I will let you take it away, my friend, because you've been waiting for this moment, just like Julie Jeremiah and Ken Haney. So go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Mr. Shapiro, for your time and all the experiences that you've been sharing with us today. I had so many questions and I was trying to come up with one, and that was hard because even at work, I was asking my coworkers, what would you ask a billionaire if you will have a chance to ask one question? And everybody was saying basically, how can you be a billionaire? And I'm not going to ask you that. I decided to just come up with my own. And actually, I have two, but the very first one is, what do you think has been the primary reason for your success?
Oh, boy. Primary reason for my success. I'm willing to take risks. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to listen. Success is defined in many different ways, and I think that the primary reasons are learning to constantly adjust and change. Nothing's forever. I think people make mistakes. Like the mistakes that they make is they are right one time and then they don't realize they need to change. Like, the old story with great companies, like you look back from the original Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is some of the best stocks in the United States, and I think from the 1800s. There's not one company in the original Dow 30 that is still in existence today. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you have to change, you have to pivot. And also, I think also people don't realize that when they're at the top of their game, that's exactly when they need to change. And people don't do that. It's hard to do that. So I think the biggest thing I'd say is constantly learning, pivoting, changing, adjusting. And, you know, it's okay when you're wrong. That's probably the best advice I can give somebody. So, you know, when you get to wherever you want to be, that's exactly when you need to change. I was just talking earlier about Starbucks. I mean, the guy was on top of the world, and now they're you know, their sales are going down, or what's wrong, and they try to hire a new CEO, and he was wrong. And these guys are like literally super geniuses. So somebody out there, you know, knows how to pivot correctly, knows how to change the narrative, knows how to change what is necessary to get to be more successful. So it's always about, I guess it's always about change. It's always about learning, changing, and adjusting. And so, and accepting failure, accepting, you know, and accepting also your limitations. I mean, you know, I have lots of limitations. I'm not like walk around smart about everything. I'm an idiot about a lot of things, complete moron. So, I mean, I have to surround myself with people that are smarter than I am or more capable than I am. And it takes a village, it takes a team. It's not individual to create success. So that's what it's all about.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, it's kind of a loaded thing. I answered that a long statement.
No, I love your answer. It's deep. My second question will be: I was I was like an investigator. I was trying to learn as much and read as much about you. And one of the things that I really stuck with me when you were talking about self-discovering. What are the things that I can do to self-discover myself? I mean, I'm not that young. Go ahead.
Well, what do you love doing? Or like, what do you enjoy every day? Or what makes you feel good? Or like, what is easy for you? I usually, when I'm mentoring somebody, when I'm coaching them, I usually go back, like, what in your life has been super easy? What's been really easy for you to do? Like, is it easy for you to make friends? Is it easy for you to, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I can't obviously do 2 minutes. It's like the 2-minute mentor. This will be a whole show in itself. I'll mentor you in 2 minutes. But, you know, I think you need to look back in your life and what has been your joy. What have you been, what's easy for you to do? Don't define yourself with others. Don't define yourself with the things you see. You're defining yourselves like, oh, I can be successful like this because of this guy, or I can do this. No, it's your own individual. You need to define yourself for yourself and what gives you joy. And excellence is what, if you're excellent at something, the money will come. My father used to say that to me all the time. If you're excellent at something, the money always comes. But you have to be excellent at something. And you are. There's something about you that's amazing. There's an inner genius about you that you have to discover. And stop following others. Like you're looking at all this, you know, it's an amazing time we live in today because of all this social media and all these things you can learn and listen. And it's a hard time today because what the information that's getting out in front of everybody else are sometimes false information, false capability. Like it's not real. You know what I mean? It's not what made people successful. They're not telling you the horror stories or how hard they worked or how they, you know, there's their own self-discovery. So think about it for yourself of what you love to do and what can you be excellent at, and pursue that, and you will be successful. And it is not only defined by money. So it isn't. Your people with lots and lots of money are some of the most miserable people I know. Okay, everyone thinks that's the answer. Okay, you have lots of money, and all of a sudden, you know, you do all sorts of things. But you know what? It's all the same. Okay. It literally is all the same. Whether you're flying coach or you're flying your own jet, you're still in the same location at the end. Whether you're driving in a junker or you're driving in a Rolls Royce, you're still going to the same place. Okay. And if you're, you know, and so that's where it's at. So, you know, stop defining it this way. I mean, I'm reading into you, and I shouldn't because I don't really know you, but there's something about you that you want to express, or something about you're great at. So do that. Find that for yourself.
I will.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
My pleasure.
Man, shout out to Isidro on that. Isidro, I know he's loaded up. He was waiting on this one. He had about 10 questions for you on this one, Mike, man. And we really want to thank you for answering Isidro's question. Shout out to you, Bowley, man, Isidro, for answering that and staying with the process, man. And Isidro has grown tremendously. And Mike, I think you gave him some valuable coaching tips in that short amount of time. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you seem like a wonderful person, and you seem really that you're trying to do self-discovery, and I suggest that you do that. But I suggest you look back at your existence, at what you do great, and enjoy that.
I will. Thank you very
All
much
right.
again. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Isidro. My guy, East in the building, man. Dude, I'm telling you what, man. We gave you some great questions, man, and I know it. They got people who were hitting me up on the sides like, Lambo, I can't even log in. Hey, we got 6-7 questions out of the deal. Hey, I'm sorry. We definitely, man, have spent so much time. We really want to thank you, Mike, man. You have definitely gave this broadcast in our community so much value.
I got a question for Mike.
What you got a question for, Mike?
Hey, Mike, quick question, sir. Now, since you this billionaire now, right? What other
Oh my gosh.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I sold my company. I did 7-something billion in sales. Everyone calls me a billionaire. That's not totally accurate. So I should define that better. I've done very well in my life. So I don't want to define as the billionaire. That's where everyone keeps moving in that direction. Okay?
Got you. Well, I was going to ask you ever set up do you have any plans on setting up like any other businesses or investments or anything?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I'm a venture capitalist, so I make investments in lots of different things. I specialize in like seed capital. I like to I look at ideas that are at the beginning stages. And so that's really what I really enjoy doing, because I get to see it from the beginning till the end. So it's a very difficult way to invest because, I'd say like 95% of them fail, but it's the most joyous way for me to invest. So.
Got you. Now, where are you exactly located?
Newport Beach, California.
Cali.
Not just that. He said Newport Beach. Newport Beach. Hey, Mike, I'm gonna just say this right now. I was on a call with a friend the other night. Their dream home is in Newport Beach.
Well, there you go.
You do know what some of them homes out there cost. I mean, you actually live out there. Newport Beach is going towards San Diego. Outside of LA, and then you got
so it's between San Diego and LA.
Yeah, like Laguna Beach, Newport Beach, Huntington Beach.
Very expensive. Yes,
I've been out there. I mean, I've been to like Imperial Beach. We was out in Imperial Beach.
Further down. That's in San Diego.
Further south. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Newport Beach is where they get up there, and you can smell the money from off the freeway. You're just like, oh, this is a different air out here.
Cali life, man. I'm trying to be like you. I'll be there.
Yeah. So shout out to Dee Dee's Chicken and Cash Shack, because Chris, her dream home is in Newport Beach, and she was showing me this $5 million home. And then literally as she's showing me to it, I said, well, you can get that from X, Y, and Z, and she says, Lambo, just tell me how. And they're doing pretty well in business. And by the time we had a 10-20 minute conversation, what seemed like a far off dream became a closer reality, just because of information, wisdom, and knowledge being able to be shared. And I do think that we possess that as generals. And you talked about that all along this entire show, what it takes and what leadership takes, what mentorship takes to look like that, but to be able to also lead and help people and guide people into success. Mike, we really want to thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a great show. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you on air. And if you're ever in Newport, please look me up. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Man, you already know, Mike. We gonna. I got some McDonald's for you, right? You got some McDonald's?
There you
Nah,
go.
I got Wendy's for him, man. That hot spicy hot chicken, man.
Yeah, there you
Spicy
go.
chicken.
Well,
We need to transform out of that, man. Get out of that McDonald's.
It's nice to meet you both. It's nice to also meet your family as well.
Likewise,
sure.
likewise, Mike. Listen, Mike, before you go, let the people know how they can stay tapped in and stay tuned in to you and stay connected to some of the great things that you're doing out in your community.
So my Instagram is the Shapiro Method. My podcast is Read the Tape. The book is called Read the Tape. The podcast is on every platform, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. And so you can look at that way. I do respond to messages, and I love helping people. And so if people need things they want to put by me, I'm happy to respond. So, and like I said, just do everything opposite I tell you and you'll be great.
Love that, Mike. That's great wisdom there, man. Well, definitely, man, me and everybody on the Leverage Show, thank you for the first time to come and sit down and share with us so much of your journey and so much amazing wisdom and knowledge. You have definitely left an impression on us that truly we can't wait to go on ahead, man, and to hear more about your journey. Tap in with you and also, man, my guy, man, because he's killing it, man, even on y'all podcast right now. 1992, The Bachelorette. Come on.
Go.
I mean, yeah, we got to love it, man. So we can't wait to go ahead, hear more about you guys, continue to keep the journey of what you guys are doing, podcasting and helping leading people, man, by leaps and bounds of what you're doing, Mike. Shout out to you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you both, and you have a wonderful evening.
You have a wonderful evening too. Listen, we loved
sir.
Everybody, man. Thank you guys, man, for definitely tapping in. I told y'all we was bringing the heat, man, right here on the Leverage Show every Tuesday and Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. PST. We mic up, cam up, man, and we bring some of the best guests. It has been your boy, Lambo Drew, and my little bro, Lil Jay Weezy.
J.E.
And my guy, Mike Shapiro, man, right here on the Leverage Show. We thank you guys. We love you guys. Till the next time, make sure you guys, man, are staying in your lane, but investing in yourself and keep believing in yourself because you, my friend, are definitely born to win. We're out of here the next time.
All right. Peace out.